We turn now to a political dynamic duo. Donald Trump Jr. and former Fox News host Kimberly Guilfoyle have been practically inseparable.
Kimberly Guilfoyle, a dynamic and captivating figure, seemed to have found her forever love after 2 previous marriages, or at least that's what we all thought. "I've done it twice now," she said. "I would like to, get married again. I believe in great love." Her life has been anything but ordinary, filled with glamorous highs and dramatic turns. Join us as we explore Kimberly's fascinating journey from her sparkling career to her whirlwind relationships, culminating in the surprising end of her engagement to Don Jr. Let's uncover why Kimberly Guilfoyle split from Don Jr. immediately after this happened. From San Francisco to big dreams, speculations about the end of the relationship between Kimberly Guilfoyle and Don Jr. marked the end of 2024. Many related that the breakup happened right after Kim found out that Don was seeing someone while they were together. To understand this whole drama, let's start from the beginning. Who is Kimberly Guilfoyle? She was born on March 9, 1969, in San Francisco, California, into a family that was a beautiful blend of cultures and histories. Her mom, Mercedes, was Puerto Rican, a woman with a passion for teaching and an undeniable dedication to nurturing others. Her dad, Anthony Tony Guilfoyle, brought his Irish charm and determination straight from Ennis County, Clare, when he arrived in the U.S. at just 20 years old. Kimberly's childhood was shaped by this rich cultural mix, with stories from Puerto Rico on one side and a bit of Irish grit on the other. She grew up in San Francisco's vibrant Mission District before the family moved to Westlake and Daly City. Her parents worked hard to give Kimberly and her younger brother, Anthony Jr., a life filled with opportunity and love despite the challenges they faced. Mercedes was a special education teacher who left a lasting impression on Kimberly. She instilled values like empathy, education, and resilience. But tragedy struck early in Kimberly's life when Mercedes passed away from leukemia. Kimberly was only 11 at the time, and this loss was a turning point that left an indelible mark on her. Mercedes's absence meant that Tony had to step up as a single father, and he did so with the kind of energy you'd expect from someone who built his life from scratch. He'd immigrated to the U.S. in 1957, spent 4 years in the Army, and then turned his construction job into a thriving real estate investment career. Tony was known for his discipline and grit, qualities he made sure his kids inherited. Kimberly and her dad shared a special bond. Tony wasn't just a father, he was her mentor and biggest cheerleader. When he wasn't working, he spent time encouraging his kids to dream big and work hard. Kimberly often said her father's work ethic and determination shaped how she approached challenges throughout her life. He also had a soft side, whether it was whipping up traditional Irish dishes or sharing life lessons from his Army days. Tony made sure his kids felt loved and prepared for the world. Kimberly attended Mercy High School in San Francisco, an all-girls Catholic school where she excelled both academically and socially. She was the kind of student who juggled good grades with extracurricular activities like it was second nature. Her high school years were filled with ambition, laughter, and a touch of teenage rebellion, but her focus never wavered. After graduating, she set her sights on higher education at the University of California, Davis. Kimberly was more than just a student, she was a go-getter. She threw herself into her studies and graduated magna cum laude, a fancy way of saying she crushed it. While Kimberly was hitting the books, she was also turning heads during her college and law school years. She worked as a model, whether it was local department store ads or bridal magazines. She balanced her legal studies with modeling gigs that included Victoria's Secret lingerie spreads. Talk about multitasking. For Kimberly, this wasn't just about looking good, it was about building confidence and learning how to navigate different worlds. She brought the same poise and determination to both her academic and professional pursuits. Building a legal legacy. We mentioned law before, but Kimberly Guilfoyle's law career deserves its own spotlight. Her journey through the courtroom was nothing short of impressive, filled with hard work, high-stakes cases, and a sprinkle of courtroom drama that Hollywood movies are made of. Let's dive into the early days when Kimberly swapped her modeling gigs for the demanding world of justice. Kimberly kicked off her legal career in the San Francisco District Attorney's Office. Here she found herself handling some of the city's most challenging cases. Violent crimes, domestic violence, and sexual assault were her focus areas, which required both legal expertise and emotional strength. But then, in 1996, the winds of change hit her career. Taryn Hunan became the new district attorney and promptly fired 14 prosecutors, Kimberly included. Tough luck, right? But if there's one thing Kimberly knew how to do, it was bounce back. With her San Francisco chapter temporarily closed, Kimberly packed her bags and headed south to Los Angeles. She joined the Los Angeles District Attorney's Office as a deputy district attorney, diving headfirst into cases that included narcotics, robberies, and even murders. Her courtroom style was fierce, known for meticulous preparation and an almost magnetic courtroom presence. Kimberly quickly made a name for herself. She didn't just argue cases, she told stories that made juries lean in and listen. Her efforts didn't go unnoticed. During her time in LA, she racked up awards, including Ed Prosecutor of the Month. It wasn't just a recognition of her skills but also her determination to see justice served. By 2000, Kimberly was back in San Francisco, rejoining the district attorney's office. And it wasn't long before she found herself at the center of a case that would make headlines nationwide, the infamous dog mauling case. The case was as gruesome as it was legally complex. It centered on the tragic death of Diane Whipple, a woman who was fatally attacked by two large dogs in her apartment building. The trial was not just about the attack but also about the broader implications of owner responsibility and the law's role in preventing such tragedies. Kimberly co-prosecuted the case, showcasing her ability to handle high-pressure situations with grace. The public attention was intense, the courtroom was packed, and emotions were high. Still, Kimberly remained composed, expertly laying out evidence and arguments with the precision of a seasoned attorney. The result: the dog's owner was convicted of manslaughter. The case solidified Kimberly's reputation as a tough and capable prosecutor, and it also brought her national recognition. One thing people always noticed about Kimberly was her ability to connect. Whether she was explaining evidence to a jury or offering a comforting word to a victim, she had a way of making the law feel personal and understandable. Her colleagues admired her confidence and poise, but it was her empathy that truly set her apart. She wasn't just a lawyer arguing a case, she was someone fighting for justice, often for those who couldn't fight for themselves. The transition from law to media: after years of tackling tough cases and earning her stripes in the courtroom, Kimberly started exploring a new avenue: media. It made perfect sense, really. She had spent years breaking down complex legal issues for juries, why not do the same for a broader audience? Her transition into media began in the early 2000s when she started working as a legal analyst for networks like Court TV and ABC News. Her experience as a prosecutor gave her an edge: she was explaining the law through the lens of someone who had lived it. With her ability to combine legal expertise with a relatable communication style, Kimberly was a natural fit for television. It wasn't long before her media career began to take off, setting the stage for the next chapter of her life. So Kimberly's legal career wasn't just a stepping stone, it was the foundation of everything that came after. The courtroom taught her resilience, confidence, and how to stay calm under pressure, skills that would prove invaluable in the media spotlight. And just like that, Kim was ready for her next adventure: the move to television. In 2004, Kimberly swapped the West Coast for the East, heading to New York to dive into the world of broadcast media. She became the host of Both Sides on Court TV, a show that focused on presenting different perspectives on current events and legal cases. It was a perfect fit for Kimberly, who had spent years navigating heated debates and tense courtroom moments. At the same time, she began appearing as a legal analyst on Anderson Cooper 360 Degrees, where her sharp commentary and clear explanations caught viewers' attention. Whether she was breaking down a controversial case or explaining the nuances of the law, Kimberly had a knack for making even the most complicated topics accessible and, dare we say, a little entertaining. In 2006, Kimberly took a big step forward in her media career by joining Fox News. She started as the host of The Lineup, a weekend show that analyzed current events through legal and cultural lenses. While the show was short-lived, it didn't take long for Kimberly to find her footing. Her charisma, confidence, and ability to tackle hot-button issues with poise earned her a spot as a regular contributor. By 2011, she was cementing her place as a TV mainstay. One of Kimberly's most defining roles came in 2011 when she became a panelist on Fox News' hit show The Five. This program featured a lively five-member panel tackling the news of the day from social trends to major events. It was the kind of format where Kimberly truly shined. Her style was bold and unapologetic. She wasn't afraid to jump into spirited debates or share her unfiltered opinions. But what really made her stand out was her ability to mix. Kimberly brought an energy that kept viewers coming back for more. The Five became one of Fox's most popular shows, thanks in no small part to Kimberly's presence. Her ability to balance serious discussions with a touch of levity made her a fan favorite. Kimberly's role at Fox wasn't limited to The Five. Over the years, she took on a variety of roles, showing her versatility and broad appeal. She hosted and co-hosted shows like Outnumbered and frequently appeared on segments such as Is It Legal? On The O'Reilly Factor. She also guest-hosted programs like Hannity, On the Record, and Fox and Friends. One of Kimberly's standout skills was her ability to adapt to different formats. Whether she was leading a roundtable discussion, offering legal analysis, or conducting one-on-one interviews, she brought the same level of preparation and professionalism to every appearance. One thing that set Kimberly apart was her relatability. She had a way of making viewers feel like they were having a conversation with a friend, albeit one who just happened to have a razor-sharp legal mind. But Kimberly's creativity didn't stop there. In 2024, she announced her first children's book, The Princess and Her Pup. It's a heartwarming tale about kindness and companionship, written with kids in mind but bound to charm adults too. And she's giving back. 10% of the book's proceeds go to a nonprofit supporting animal welfare. Her writing style is just like her, relatable, clear, and packed with personality. Whether she's sharing professional advice, reflecting on life lessons, or crafting a whimsical children's story, Kimberly's words have a way of connecting with her audience. Love, loss, and lessons learned. You must be wondering what kind of man managed to conquer such a busy and successful woman like Kimberly Guilfoyle, with her fierce determination, sharp intellect, and undeniable charm. It's no surprise that her love life has been as eventful as her career. Kimberly has walked down the aisle not once but twice, each time with a man who, for a while, seemed like the perfect match. In December 2001, Kimberly married Gavin Newsom, then a San Francisco city supervisor at the time. They were the talk of the town, young, glamorous, and ambitious. Their whirlwind romance led to a wedding that felt like something out of a modern fairy tale. During their marriage, Kimberly used the name Kimberly Guilfoyle Newsom, and the couple's style and charisma earned them a feature in Harper's Bazaar. In 2004, in the spread shot at the luxurious Getty Villa, they were dubbed the new Kennedys. The title fits their polished image, but as we know, even fairy tales have their challenges. Kimberly and Gavin's marriage faced the ultimate test: distance. Kimberly's career had taken her to New York, where she was making a name for herself on television, while Gavin remained rooted in California. The strain of a bicoastal marriage proved too much, and in January 2005, the couple jointly filed for divorce. Their separation seemed amicable on the surface, but the headlines didn't stop there. In 2007, a scandal involving Gavin's personal life emerged, casting a shadow over their past. While it's unclear whether Kimberly knew about his actions before their split, it's safe to say the end of their marriage marked a turning point for both of them. In May 2006, Kimberly found love again, this time with Eric Villancy, a furniture heir and businessman. Their romance had an air of elegance and simplicity, culminating in a stunning wedding at Sandy Lane, a resort in Barbados. The ceremony officiated by the Reverend I. Curtin was intimate and picturesque, everything you'd expect from a couple so effortlessly chic. Eric, the CEO of Maurice Villainy, came from a family steeped in design and creativity. His mother was a mixed media artist, and his father shared the furniture chain founded by Eric's grandfather. It seemed like Kimberly had found someone who could match her ambition and charm. Later that year, the couple welcomed their son Ronan into the world. Kimberly often spoke about the joy of motherhood, and Ronan became a central figure in her life. But even with the addition of their son, the marriage began to show cracks. By November 2009, Kimberly and Eric divorced, marking the end of her second marriage. While the reasons behind their split remain private, it's clear that Kimberly and Eric maintained a focus on co-parenting Ronan. Looking at Kimberly's two marriages, it's easy to see the threads of passion, ambition, and a desire to build a shared future. Each chapter brought its own challenges, distance in one, perhaps differing paths in another. But Kimberly never let her personal life define her or hold her back. What stands out most is her resilience. After each divorce, Kimberly didn't retreat into herself or let heartbreak derail her. Instead, she pushed forward, growing both personally and professionally. She balanced her career, parenting, and her own ambitions with grace, showing that life doesn't have to be perfect to be meaningful. Fast forward to 2018, and Kimberly Guilfoyle was making waves not just in her career but in her personal life too. That year, she and Donald Trump Jr. went public as a couple, just as his divorce from Vanessa was finalized. For Don Jr., who shares 5 children with Vanessa, the timing seemed right to begin a new chapter, and Kimberly was right there with him from the start. Their relationship seemed like an adventure. Kimberly and Don bonded over their shared energy and zest for life, which kept their dynamic fun and full of surprises. Whether they were traveling, attending events, or just enjoying time with Don's kids, their connection was evident. In March 2021, the couple planted roots in Jupiter, Florida, purchasing a sprawling $9.7 million mansion. And let's just say, this wasn't an average house. With 7 bedrooms, 12 bathrooms, a wine room, a theater, an elevator, a chef's kitchen, guest wings, a pool, and even a private dock, their home was more like a luxury resort. The location was perfect too. Vanessa, Don's ex-wife, lived nearby, making it easier for him to stay close to his children, Kai, Don 3, Tristan, Spencer, and Chloe. Kimberly, for her part, embraced the blended family dynamic, often sharing moments with the kids and celebrating milestones together. Though Kimberly and Don Jr.'s engagement wasn't announced until January 2022, it had actually happened much earlier, on New Year's Eve 2020. The couple kept the news under wraps for a while, focusing instead on their life together. When the engagement was finally revealed, it felt like a natural progression of their relationship. Sources say Don started to feel a little unsettled by Kimberly's free-spirited nature. Known affectionately as Margarita Girl during her younger years in San Francisco, Kimberly had a reputation for loving a good party. Back then, she was the life of the scene, charismatic, outgoing, and always the center of attention. While Don admired her charm and ability to connect with people, the glittering social life began to feel overwhelming for someone more inclined toward quieter moments with his family. Kimberly's fondness for cigars, cocktails, and extravagant events seemed at odds with Don's idea of home life. And then came Bettina Anderson. Don met Bettina sometime in late 2024, and while there's no timeline to confirm when things turned romantic, their public debut at Mar-a-Lago made it clear they were very much a couple. Bettina, described as elegant and grounded, brought a different energy to Don's life, perhaps one that felt more in tune with what he wanted at this stage. People close to the couple speculate that Kimberly's flair for the extravagant may have nudged Don towards seeking something simpler. Whether it was the nickname Margarita Girl or her frequent socializing, some say Don felt the relationship no longer aligned with his values. When news broke that Don had been seeing Bettina while still with Kimberly, it wasn't exactly a shock. The signs had been there: the quiet Instagram presence, fewer public appearances together, and subtle changes in their usual dynamic. Kimberly, ever the resilient one, reportedly ended things as soon as she learned about Bettina. To her credit, Kimberly didn't let the breakup dim her light. On Don's 47th birthday, mere weeks after their split, she took to Instagram to share a series of photos celebrating him, signaling an amicable end to their engagement. It seemed Kimberly was choosing grace over grudges, even as Don's relationship with Bettina became more public. Do you think it's possible to remain friends or on good terms with an ex when they've moved on quickly, as Kimberly seemingly has with Don? Let us know in the comments, and subscribe to our channel for more.